was the relationship between the issue of access to medicines with some of the sustainable development goals, especially SDG number 3, good health and well-being for all, and some other SDGs like poverty and inequality. And I will focus on some of the innovation and access failures in the pharma sector. And I will specifically focus on evergreening of drug patents and the issue of neglected diseases and how these issues can be addressed at national level, what are the policy options, and what should be our approach at the international level to address these issues. So first of all, what's the importance of drug innovation and access for achieving SDG 3 and relevant SDGs? The UN high-level panel report on access to medicines released in September 2016 stated that innovation is vital to achieving the 2030 Agenda's goal of improving health and well-being for all. And you know, in the healthcare sector, there are always new challenges, and we need the ongoing innovation process to deal with those challenges. So obviously, we need innovation in the health sector, in the pharma sector. And then the other issue is access to that innovation. If the innovation is available, if the remedy for some disease is available in the market, but people are, a vast majority of the people, they can't access that remedy, it's out of their access, so the innovation is not serving the purpose it was meant to serve. Good health is a prerequisite for economic growth and social progress, and good health enhances the ability of community to develop human capital, undertake economic activities, and attract investment. So it's contributing towards the financial and economic development and social progress of the society. So good health is related to some of the other sustainable development goals. There's a two-way relationship between poverty and ill health. Poverty contributes to disease, while disease also contributes to poverty. So there are a number of diseases that are caused by poverty. I will come to those diseases in the later part of my presentation. Some diseases are caused by poverty, and then because of the expensive treatment of those diseases further lead to poverty. So there's a two-way relationship between poverty and ill health. Okay. Innovation and access failures in the pharma sector. Now I will focus on on one of the reasons why innovation failures are caused in the pharma sector. Technology innovation has delivered its results in the pharma sector. There was no cure for several diseases like smallpox, chickenpox, measles, malaria, TB, diabetes, HIV/AIDS, cancer, hepatitis C, and some other diseases. Very recently, there was no cure for these diseases. So technology innovation in the pharma sector has delivered its results. We should appreciate and acknowledge that. But innovation in the pharmaceutical sector has not achieved its full potential, and it is not achieving its full potential. According to the National Institute of Healthcare Management, NICM USA, only 15% of the new drugs are highly innovative. 85% of the new drugs coming to the market, they are not highly innovative. They are just incremental innovations. So the pharmaceutical companies, they are trying to play with the patent system to extend their patent monopolies and to gain more profits from the same innovations that are already there. What are the evergreening tactics the pharmaceutical companies are using to extend their patent monopolies? Patents for new formulations. The active ingredient is already known and it's already in the market, it's patented. The pharmaceutical companies, they will come with some improvements like the side effects will be reduced, or they will make it safer to use, and they will get another patent to extend their patent monopoly. Patents for new combinations of drugs. The active ingredients individually, they are already known and they are patented, and the pharmaceutical companies, what they will do, they will combine two or more active ingredients to make a new drug, and they get another patent to extend their monopoly. For example, GSK, they use the same strategy in case of Zidovudine. They extended the patent monopoly by combining different ARVs. Patents for new use of a known drug. This is also called repositioning of a drug or a new use of a drug. For example, Pfizer used this strategy in case of angina. Angina was basically a cure for chest pain. And accidentally, it was found that sildenafil was basically a cure for angina or chest pain. And accidentally, it was found that this drug is useful for erectile dysfunction. And they branded it as Viagra. And they used this strategy to extend their patent monopoly for an already existing disease for which they didn't put any effort. It was just accidental. And they extended the patent monopoly. Patents for new dosage forms. For example, the treatment is already in the market in the form of injection. And they bring an innovation, incremental innovation, and they bring the drug in the form of tablets or capsules. Or previously, you had to use the tablet once a day, and now they are bringing a new innovation, and you have to use the tablet only once in a week. So, new dosage forms. Twofold negative impact of evergreening of drug patents. It causes innovation failures. Instead of focusing on genuine innovations, drug companies divert their attention to risk-free and less costly incremental innovations, and it leads to excess failures. Because as long as the drug is patented, it's not possible for generic companies to bring the cheaper alternatives in the market. And the difference between the price difference between the patented medicines and the generic medicines is not nominal. For example, in case of HIV therapy, when HIV therapy was patented, it would cost $10,000 for 1 month therapy. And now, when the Indian generics are able to make generic copies of that therapy, it's available for only $100 for 1 month therapy. So on one hand, you have to pay $10,000, and on the other hand, you have to pay only $100. There's a huge difference. So because of the patent protection as a result of evergreening tactics, the drug is protected for a longer period of time, and the generics are out of the market. And if you see it in the SDGs, Sustainable Development perspective, 85% of the world's population lives in the low and middle income countries, and 90% people in these low and middle income countries, they pay for medicines from out of pocket. So the disease is the disease will ultimately lead you to the poverty, because you are paying from your pocket and the price of the drugs is so high. Okay, evergreening is killing people not only in the developing or least developed countries, but also in high income countries. This is one recent example. Alec, a diabetes patient in the US, turned 26 on May 20, 2018, and aged off his mother's insurance plan. Now, insulin supplies would cost him $1,300 a month. He died in less than 1 month because he couldn't afford the supply of insulin. And it's surprising to know that insulin was discovered in 1921, almost 100 years ago. And because of the evergreening tactics, still the generic alternatives are not available in the market in the US. How to fix the evergreening problem? One traditional way of fixing the problem is to go to the court and litigate the patent. But patent litigation is notoriously risky, costly, lengthy, and cumbersome. And there's another issue associated with the patent litigation, because the holder of the patent, the patentee, he is in a better position because of the presumption of validity. The challenger of a patent, the burden of proof lies on the challenger, and the standard of proof is high. He needs to convince the court with the help of clear and convincing evidence that the patent was invalid. India used TRIPS flexibility under Article 27(1) to define patentability criteria and raise the bar for patentability under Section 3D of the Patents Act. India used another flexibility, and they designed their patent opposition model, and they linked the Section 3D with its patent opposition model to provide opportunity to third parties to contest patents within the patent office with zero fee, not even a single penny they have to pay, and it's within the patent office, and it's time efficient because it's a time-bound procedure, and it's practically feasible because there's no burden of proof on the opponent. Section 3D as an okay, I will skip this. What India did, they raised the standard of patentability under Section 3D to curtail the evergreening of the drug patents. And how they did it, they combined these two TRIPS flexibilities, the flexibility to define patentability criteria and the flexibility to design a patent opposition model. They merged these two flexibilities to curtail the evergreening. Then the issue of neglected or tropical diseases. As you can see on the map, these diseases are specific only to the poor people, to the third world. The rich portions on the globe, you won't find these diseases in those areas. And 1 in 6 people is suffering from one or more of these diseases. And the pharmaceutical companies, they are not able to find a cure for these diseases because the patent system's monetary reward system is designed in such a way that the companies, while making decisions about their R&D allocations, they will see how much market returns they are going to gain from those innovations. And they are willing to invest in rich people problems, like they will be willing to invest in facial wrinkles, removing facial wrinkles, but they will not be willing to focus on diseases like Ebola, Zika, yellow fever, and there's a long list of these diseases in the bottom of my slide. And this highlights the connections of SDG 3 with some other SDGs like 5 and 10 that aim at reducing inequality. And this innovation gap questions the ability of the existing innovation system to translate R&D investments into better global health. What should we do to overcome this problem? The UN high-level panel report on access to medicines, they propose this delinking model to find the solution to this problem. How this delinking model works, you are delinking the cost of innovation from the price of resulting products. So the R&D will be funded and financed and led by the government. It will be state-led, state-financed R&D. It has produced its results in the case of for the military use, because there were major advances and breakthroughs in the development of modern weapons because this strategy of delinking was used by Russia and USA. And but when it comes to neglected diseases, the governments are not USA and Russia; they are third world governments, and they are practically constrained. They are not similar. They don't have the similar resources, financial resources, to put into for this cause. And there are informational burdens also on the government. And the governments in the third world countries might lack political will, foresight, and financial resources to effectively adopt delinking model. Okay, what should be our approach at international level? Instead of allowing powerful countries to dictate pro-profit IP standards through free trade agreements, developing countries need to collectively press for reinvigorating multilateral forums like the WTO and WIPO, because in those forums they have more voice. The third world, they have more representation and they have more voice to strike a balance between the public interest and the corporate interest when it comes to setting IP standards. The FTAs, or free trade agreements, on the other hand, they don't care for the public interest and they don't care for the problems of the third world countries, and they are pro-profit and pro-evergreening. If you read the article 18.37 para 2 of the TPP, it reads as, patent protection will be available for new uses of a known product, new methods of using a known product, or new processes of using a known product. So clearly, you are protecting evergreening of drug patents. And the US and EU need to respect the international norm setting or standard setting role of multinational forums like the WTO and WIPO. And it has been noted that USA uses this special 301 mechanism, which is entirely out of the WTO. It uses that mechanism to arm twist and to bully the third world countries to adopt the standards of IP set by the US, not by the WTO or WIPO. So they should realize and recognize that the third world countries or the WTO member countries, they are not bound to adopt the standards set by USA or EU. They are bound to adopt the standards set by WIPO and WTO. The global community needs to honor the commitment to health as a basic human right, and the neglected diseases must be given due importance while allocating resources in global development programs. Thank you.